On this series, we've brought you closer to understanding hybrid technology. We've taken you through the history of its development. We've also showed you its manufacturing process and just how that varies from that of conventional automobiles. But if there's one thing that nearly 10 years of testing automobiles has taught me, you can have all the information that you can possibly get your hands on, but there's nothing quite like a seat-of-the-pants experience. Welcome to Hybrid Horizons on Freewheeling. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Patankar, and it is now time to drive. That's right, we have the complete lineup of hybrids from Toyota right here in the heart of Toyota City, the company's global headquarters. The idea was to present to you different hybrids and review them. We also want to understand why so many people worldwide buy hybrid cars in general. PRIUS is now familiar to you all, but we also have the rest of the PRIUS family here. The PHV or plug-in hybrid is here, and the PRIUS Alpha or V as it's called in markets like the United States, which is the minivan or MPV version of the PRIUS, is also here. The Japanese version has the option of being a 7-seater, while the US version sells as a 5-seater. The PRIUS C is the hatch. C stands for city, by the way, and here in Japan the car goes by the name of AQUA.
In Japan, the PRIUS is the only PRIUS.
Yeah, they have different names for the other.
Because it's an icon. So because I feel the same as the Beetle for the German people. German people always thinking Beetle is just Beetle. So but in US market is a little bit different. So it's the same of the Japanese market. Japanese people thinking PRIUS is just PRIUS. So the PRIUS C doesn't same name in Japan. We call it AQUA. AQUA means that, as you know, the water. It's a good for environment. Many people think so. So and PRIUS Alpha doesn't call the PRIUS, but the PRIUS family. It looks like the big family and the big umbrella. It's good for the building the market.
The Estima Hybrid is a larger minivan and uses a drivetrain similar to the Lexus RX 400h compact SUV, which means that it has two electric motors, one for the front wheels and one rear-mounted electric motor driving the rear wheels for four-wheel drive capability. And then there's the good old CAMRY, a bestseller in its own right. The hybrid CAMRY is also a massive volumes generator for the Toyota hybrid range worldwide. It was mainly the Japanese brands that brought a lot of hybrids to market, and in the first decade of hybrid vehicles you pretty much saw this one icon vehicle from that particular brand which looked different, which really represented something which was unique. It wasn't very ubiquitous, but in the recent years what we have seen is a wide range of vehicles that represent the hybrid portfolio from different brands. So it's not something that looks remarkably different necessarily. It's not something that stands out or that you can tell from a mile as being a hybrid model. It's pretty much any kind of vehicle that just uses hybrid technology underneath the skin. So for the first time you're also seeing the development of smaller cars from the B segment as they're called the world over, little hatchbacks that give you not just the convenience of a hybrid but also lighter weight, which means higher fuel efficiency, and all of this is possible because of greater economies of scale.
At this moment for Toyota, it is very easy to adapt the hybrid system into various models. And this September, Toyota officially announced that we will introduce 21 new additional hybrid globally towards the end of 2015. Of course, that includes the model change, but we already announced that Toyota will introduce 21 hybrid model. So that proves that Toyota is very easy to expand or introduce hybrid model into various models.
As the hybrid car becomes more ubiquitous, the relevance of a standout design like the PRIUS carries has now faded away. In fact, some reports suggest that the fourth generation PRIUS will not necessarily carry the iconic shape and may look like a generic car. Toyota, of course, will not confirm this at this time, and in any case, opinions differ on whether or not to maintain that roofline.
PRIUS is a PRIUS. So, for example, the Volkswagen launched a new Beetle. It looks just Beetle, I feel. So the PRIUS, I recommend that Toyota keep the PRIUS shape, aerodynamics good for the eco-friendly, and because many people think the PRIUS is just PRIUS. So if they change their form, like the ordinary car, I feel that it's not so impressive.
I was most interested in checking out the PRIUS C, since it's the newest model of the hybrid range from the company. And yes, I will now refer to it as the AQUA, as it's called here. It's a compact car, yet fairly roomy on the inside. Typical hatchback proportions and boot space. But of course, what sets it apart is the hybrid drivetrain. Now, it may be called the PRIUS C to extend the PRIUS family and use the strength of that brand name in some of its export markets, but here in Japan, this car is of course known as the AQUA. Good reason for that. It's not really an extension of the PRIUS family in terms of platform. Of course, it uses the similar drivetrain, or especially the hybrid part of that drivetrain. But take a look at the space. The kind of cabin space you get in this car is very much akin to what in India is known as the B plus or premium hatchback space, and of course called the B segment pretty much everywhere else in the world. Decent on space, and it's similar to the Yaris family from Toyota. And why not? Because that is actually what it is based on. And so in terms of styling, in terms of overall appeal, you get the sense that, all right, it's a hatchback, it's good for the city, but yet it's roomy. It's got a pretty decent wheelbase as well. And that's the beauty of it, the fact that now you can do so much more with the hybrid space. You can pretty much adapt to different consumer needs. And I made this point earlier too, but I think with this car in particular, that is the one aspect that comes to life.
After the first generation PRIUS launch in the 1997, we decided to expand hybrid model to a few models such as minivan, Japanese domestic Estima hybrid, and then the SUV Japanese Harrier, and overseas Lexus RX, and then we gradually expanded the hybrid model into various car lineup. And end of last year and this year, we expand hybrid model into compact car segment, so-called B segment car. For Japan, that car is called AQUA, and for Europe, we already went on sales for Yaris hybrid model, and these AQUA and Yaris hybrid is very successful in Japan. Successful in Japan and Europe.
So as I said, the AQUA uses the same platform as the compact Yaris hatch. It's powered by a 1.5-litre VVTi petrol engine. The actual hybrid Synergy drive system includes a new inverter, motor and battery, and it's lighter than the hybrid drivetrain on the PRIUS. Total combined output of the engine and the motor is 99 bhp. Except for the fact that the engine occasionally, of course, turns off and switches to the eco mode, which is when battery power starts supplying the juice to the vehicle. You don't really get the impression that this is a different kind of car, and that's a good thing, because in the past most of these hybrids did feel a little bit different, didn't they? And in this small car space especially, you don't want a car that feels unnatural or too light. So that's a bit of a USP. The AQUA is convenient, zippy, and meets the needs of city buyers. The car is not sporty though, and so for someone who wants exaggerated performance, this may not be the car to buy. But then a buyer like that won't necessarily be thinking of going environmentally friendly anyway, right? You're seeing other car makers like Ford, like even BMW for that matter, experimenting with this smaller, more compact sort of a space when it comes to environmentally friendly vehicles. And now that I mentioned BMW, it's also worth mentioning to you that this strength that Toyota as a brand brings to the table in terms of hybrid technology, BMW of course has its strengths in diesel technology, and both companies want the other technology, and so that's why they've actually come together in a very significant partnership that's going to perhaps be a little bit worrisome for their rivals. And worry them a lot, as on both the clean diesel and hybrid side, large volumes are at stake. It is expected that the Toyota-BMW alliance will help create not just superior future technology for more efficient engines, but also bring that technology to consumers at lower prices. Other car makers are also collaborating, and now there's also talk of diesel hybrids, with the 2013 Range Rover SUV offering the world's first.
次の環境技術ということについては
We are doing a lot of studying in the environment technology for the next generation in various fields, and maybe nothing really new will come out, maybe, but if there is a new technology that is introduced, we always should do our best to meet that.
可能性っていうのはありますので。
But however, in reality, I really feel the hybrid technology and the plug-in hybrid, which uses electric, that will be a strong vehicles that can replace the conventional type of vehicle.
まあ今の車に置き換わる走行中に
But also for the vehicle while driving with no emission, electric vehicle and a fuel cell vehicle are introduced, but I think it would be really difficult to replace the conventional type of the vehicles with these two type of vehicles completely.
というと
So what prompts people to adopt hybrids?
環境に優しい
One is because environmentally it's good, and the other one is fuel economy is very good.
その2つです。
My home have a solar panel, also the eco rain, so need a rainwater to keep the and that for or the flower, also and garbage compost. So I'd like to tell my kids for the ecology.
Of course, in Japan, there is also a tax incentive for purchasing a green vehicle, which also adds to the attractiveness of buying a hybrid. But to better understand the sentiment, we decided to spend some time with a hybrid user. A coffee shop in Nagoya was the location for my rendezvous with Tomoko Ishihara, a young PR executive who has also chosen to go hybrid. Tomoko bought a plug-in hybrid or PHV variant of the PRIUS soon after its launch in early 2012, and she's been very happy since. Yeah. As Tomoko mentioned, it was easier for her to choose a plug-in over a conventional hybrid since her office and home had the infrastructure to be able to charge the car conveniently. In fact, it is this one aspect that allows the Prius PHV to have an extended driving range as compared to a regular hybrid, which needs to charge itself on the go and therefore has less accommodating battery power. That's it. On my next stop, a Toyota dealership close by. Now, we may have explained all the technology to you, but in the real world, that's not always all that the consumer cares about. So we decided to get that perspective by stepping into a Corolla showroom here in downtown Nagoya. Now, take a look at just how differently hybrids and conventional cars are treated. Right here, you can see a complete lineup of all those conventional gasoline-driven models. And then on the other side, pride of place being occupied by all the hybrid models right here. So you can see quite clearly how important they are for the Japanese market. Let's get a better perspective on just how important and how consumers react to all of this from the sales staff here. So hybrids now take pride of place in showrooms as being superior on technology and appeal. At the showroom, I met Hideki Nakayama, the store manager for this outlet, and he shared with me his experience of selling hybrids right from the earliest cars a decade ago.
Customers had lots of interest in hybrid models, especially what is the structure of hybrid, especially the batteries, what kind of structure hybrid battery is. Such kind of questions we got often. First of all, we studied on how the hybrid system works, and then we try to actually make customers understand about our hybrid. So we use the easy words, and that's one thing. And the other one is we appeal the ecology, especially the fuel economy is very good.
Constant training and updating their own skills on hybrid models has helped retain customers and also bring in new ones, especially those who are undecided when they walk in to look at both kinds of cars. Hideki says that the outlet now sells a large number of hybrids and they account for over 46% of all sales. My last stop for the day was the Toyota Brand Center back at the headquarters in Toyota City. We're inside the Toyota Kaikan. It's a bit of a brand center, if you will, where a lot of potential buyers, admirers of the brand like to come in and simply just take a look at some of the cars. So lots of people here. This car, the PHV or the plug-in hybrid Prius, is no doubt one of those that gets a lot of attention these days because it's something new, it's something different. You've got the entire Toyota range here as well, and there you go, lots of Toyota fans looking at the different cars across the range. But there is this one other car that's been creating quite a flutter since it launched in about February 2012 here in the Japanese market. It's called the AQUA, and it's a big hatchback. You might not think it's too special, but the little special USP is the fact that this is a hybrid model for the first time in this particular space. And the reason it's getting a lot of attention is necessarily that particular point. It's very fuel efficient and it does offer the hybrid option. The good part of the whole story here is that it's resulted in tremendous success. It is now Japan's highest selling car in such a short time. Of course, we are not talking about the K class as it's called here in Japan, which are the small micro cars that get a lot of tax benefit and are therefore priced much cheaper. So cars like Suzuki, Daihatsu, those are the best sellers there in the K class and sell higher volumes. But outside of the K class, it is the AQUA that has the highest sales here in Japan. All right, so you know the AQUA well enough now from earlier on in the show, don't you? Well, I was rather surprised to find out that it's become the country's best-selling car, outselling traditional favorites like the Corolla or other popular cars from Honda, Nissan and Mazda. The Kaikan sees a number of Toyota fans come to touch the brand in some way. But interestingly, the staff here says a lot of people also come in to simply understand and experience hybrid and other green vehicle technologies. And just like Toyota's Miraikan, they bring their children too in the hope of educating them on the use of the appropriate technologies that benefit our environment. But what about all these people around me in this modern country of Japan, so used to all these new technologies, especially hybrids as well? They're used to those cars which are of course, part of their lives. They're used to hybrid cabs as well, and so much talk about public transport switching to hybrid technology. We're talking about possibly even a hybrid bullet train one of these days. But what about the other set of people who haven't quite touched this technology, who don't know that they can adapt to it so easily? That's going to be the clincher to decide whether hybrids really are going to be that big solution right up till perhaps the year 2020, when that next big breakthrough is expected to take over. That's the aspect we're going to explore on the program next week. Join us then, and until then, keep freewheeling.